Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and this is my passion project. I really do hope I can do it justice, the topic, the people who worked in it. It will blow your socks off, so please stay tuned because it is well worth it. It is mind-blowing, and if you have the whole context, the whole story, it is even more impressive what these people did in the 18th century. So, the chain makers. I was completely inspired by this book by Ellen White. It is just a small leaflet from, and it's even typed. It is from 1967. For me, after Sergeant Pepper, the best thing that came out of England in 1967. The chain makers, the Fusee chain makers. It is such a lovely story. This is very regional for all the people who worked in Christchurch. Was it Christchurch? Yeah. A region in the UK, but the story is bigger than that, and I'm pretty into history, and we have a huge collection in our library. And after this book, I made some other discoveries, and that was just such a godsend, and it was just wow. So please bear with me, it will blow your socks off, I promise. Fusee chain makers. What is a fusee? Why is it important? Why was it that incredibly important? And how did they made it? And after that you will tip your head to the people who made them, and it is insane, out of this world craftsmanship. And I will try to illustrate it with the original pieces from that era, from the 18th century. Fusee chain. And that's where we have it. It is usually in the verge escapement, and there we have a small chain and the main barrel, and same there. You can see the small, it's like a bicycle chain, and it's hooked in the barrel. In Dutch it's called snack, and German schnecke, and for a long time I didn't know why. Snack is a really strange Dutch expression. It was called snack after a snail in German, Schnecke. And Fusee originally, as I found when I was doing my workshop, my homework, comes from Fusee, and that is this drop spindle for spinning wool. Fusee in French, and that is anglicized in Fusee. So what? Well, I think it is such a lovely story. In a clock you have weights, and early in the morning it is the same weight as late in the evening. Late in the evening. With you, when you have pocket watches or any watch, wristwatch, you can't use weights, so you have to use a mainspring. Well, when you wind, the mainspring has a lot of power, and during the day it becomes less, and at the end of the day there's not too much power left. That is a problem, because you have got to have an even strength distribution on your gear train. If that distribution of power is really constant, you have a really accurate watch. That's why an automatic watch, automatic winding, is more accurate than a hand wound, because an automatic winding keeps the power level always constant, so more accurate. Why is that important? Well, it is really important because of this guy, Mr. John Harisson, absolute genius, Englishman and carpenter by trade. That's why he wasn't taken seriously in horology. in horology, and he found that the how do you call it? The problem of longitude, because British Navy didn't have any problem with latitude, so where you are northeast, because that's when you use a sextant like that. Well, I'm the son of a first officer of the Merchant Marine, so navigation was a, a common topic during dinner. So where you are latitude isn't too hard, but then again, reading a sextant is quite hard. So what about the longitude? Where are you on the globe? Very, very, very simple. The Earth rotates once every 24 hours and rotates 360 degrees. So from a fixed point, Greenwich, the zero meridian, if you know how many hours you're from Greenwich, then you know how many degrees you are from Greenwich. And then you have a cross-reference and you know where you are from at the globe. So a ship must carry Greenwich time very accurately, and then at 12 o'clock noon, you know the sun is at its zenith, the highest point, so you know where you are and you know when it's 12 o'clock noon, and then you can see how many time there is difference between Greenwich and your place, and that's longitude. Very simple told, but you've got an idea. So you need a very accurate timekeeper, marine chronometer, to know your place on the globe. Well, that's where and this is genius, but it was used years and years and years before the 1700s. When you wind your mainspring, it's got a lot of power. So it goes to a smaller diameter, and when the mainspring loosens, you go to a bigger diameter, and over the day you've got a beautiful constant transversal power. Their chain of cord or cord. Well, gut was used for quite a long time. So we finally found a purpose for cats. I'm more of a dog person myself. But gut and rope, when it becomes wet, it changes. So you need a non-stretching material, which comes in the chain. Cheers everybody. I really do hope you'll enjoy this story as much as I do, because it's at the end there will be a surprise that will blow your socks off. So you need a non-stretchable material, and that is chain. Remember, this is centuries before a bicycle chain or any industrial revolution. So here we have Fusee chains with a hook on one side and then the other side attached to the fusee, just like a bicycle chain. But there's always a but in watchmaking: the sheer size of it and the skill to make it. And that's when this book came in handy, because these chains, all these, how did they make it? How did they do it in such a way and such a huge production? Because in every single timepiece, and not just marine chronometers, but any verge escapement watch, there was a fusee chain. So how did they do that? And then here, it is a very personal book. I'll try to put in the, if it has an ISBN number, I put everything in the comments. But there is even an interview with one of the girls at the time who were making the fusee chain. Usually people in poorhouses, in workhouses, it was child labor, no doubt about it. And how sad that is. And overall, I am sure they had a horrible time. But the interview with this woman said she personally, so I know it's not for all people, because workhouses and poorhouses were horrible. But she told me in the interview that she was treated with respect, and as a tradesperson who could really make something. So it wasn't all horrible, but I am sure there was some real hardship. And how did they make it? They used these drawings, and it's from the Encyclopedia Diderot, 1755. Well, that was the first shock to the system. We have a huge collection of books on watchmaking, and the oldest is from the late 1600s. And for years I knew we had these. These are the original 1755 edition, and it breaks the heart that somebody cut them out of the old books to sell them, well, as these. But still, these are the original 1755 edition, and we know that these were punched out by them. And if you see these, but then if you see the scale, that is one. And in a moment, well, let's do it right now. These are the original tools being used. All this is 18th century. Yeah. And I just love how personal it is, and that there isn't really too much changed in 200, 300 years of watchmaking. But then the scale, and again, this will blow your socks off. Small anvils, files, so they were punched out, filed in place, but then, and this is what I really would like to show you, because for me that makes it so much more personal, the making of these parts. And well, that is my microscope, the camera, that is the microscope, and then you are watching with me to the Fusee chain, and if you just realize, come on, get into focus, it's just me. If you just see this Fusee chain, and here comes the clincher, it just looks like bicycle chain. And here is a hair from my beard. That's a hair. So these links, the hole that they punched out but then filed by hand, put in a small stake, clipped it off and punched it, is smaller than a hair. So it was child labor. And here, so every link, every piece has 3 links. Do you see that? 2 outwards, 1 inwards, just like a bicycle chain, but centuries before a bicycle chain. And this is just and so the punching out was one job. The sticking through, even here's one link. I pulled this one out of an old chain, and this is just the one link, and I put it on a piece of paper. Here is a it doesn't even make sense to put it next to a matchstick. I'll try it in a moment. And again, that's a hair. So you have to put in the links without magnification, with just daylight. Put it over a hair, then rivet the piece. And remember, 3 links on top of each other has to be riveted. When there is a chain, how many links is this? It is mind-blowing. Then they put it in boiling oil to harden and temper it, and then polish it. And just for the accuracy of the timepieces, and you can safely say, and I really do mean this, that the people in the workhouse, the poorhouse, have built the British Empire. Without their work, this insane fiddly job, it was completely impossible to navigate the globe. The latitude, the latitude and the longitude, remember? See where they cross, that's where you are. So without their incredible work, navigation wasn't possible, global trade wasn't possible, Britain could never grow out to be the empire that it became, and then it crumbled off again. But just the insane amount of work and skill of just those people has never been acknowledged. And this is why it really is a passion project of mine, because they deserve every credit possible. Because even now, with magnification, how did they do it? How day in, day out, thousands upon thousands of links, riveting. It is just simply insane. The skill and just the tenaciousness doing it every single time. I am going to try to put this on the matchstick. Yeah. Just look at this. Oh, there it is. How insane is this? Filing, riveting, polishing, hardening, tempering, and thousands upon thousands of these in just one chain. I am completely in awe, and I find it so fascinating that we have the original tools, the original prints from 1755, and I really do hope you enjoyed this really personal bit of horology and the real people making it. I am so glad that she mentions in the interview that she was treated with respect, and but I know there is such a lot of hardship um, involved with making of these Fusee chains, and that accurate timekeeping is something that centuries after they made the chains, we still feel that that global trade has made countries into an empire. That is some legacy of people who were working in poorhouses at that time. All of you, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel Chronoglide. I really do hope you enjoyed this story, and the people, well, they deserve every single credit. All of you. If you like it, please hit the like button, and hope to see you soon. Hey, see ya. Bye bye.